Hello and welcome to The Lucky Roll, an eclectic channel for eclectic games. And today we're reviewing Meeples and Monsters, a 4-player bag builder, or should I say meeple builder. And a big thank you to AEG Games for sending us this copy for review. Meeples and Monsters is a 2 to 4 player game in which players build up their bag of meeples in order to battle monsters with. The game is a very interesting combination of worker placement, deck building and victory points chasing with a fun and unique aesthetic and a twist of traditional worker placement deck building mechanics. It's a game from Ole Steinnes, the man behind Champions of Midgard, and is set in the peaceful city of Rowan, which is beset every player turn by monsters, in which players must transform or exchange simple peasants into warriors, clerics, knights and mages in order to keep the monsters at bay. A player turn is composed of 3 phases. A development phase in which players can build a finite amount of new locations in the city, offering them other worker placement style options, or a chance to level up their warriors. A main phase in which players activate locations on the board, such as giving a boost to existing warrior meeples, or indeed recruiting new ones, and more importantly, fighting the monsters. The final phase is a draw phase, in which players draw new meeples from the bag for their next turn. The draw phase is the real appeal of this game, and where its unique take on both genres is most apparent. White meeples are called peasants, and players start with 7 of them. There are also 3 grey corrupted meeples, who are essentially just useless tokens that take up space on your board. A player, on their draw phase, draws up to 4 meeples and places them in their tavern. These meeples essentially give them their actions in their subsequent development and main phases, and all meeples used in those phases then move to the lodgings and remain there until the player draw bag is empty, in which all meeples in the lodgings are returned to the bag and players draw from their supply anew. Grey corruption meeples, when drawn, just go directly to your lodgings and are amusingly irksome, in that every player that draws a subsequent amount of them grumbles about them needing to get a job, eating your porridge, taking up space, sleeping in your beds, and just generally being a burden in society. Over subsequent rounds, players will upgrade their white peasant meeples into more powerful ones such as clerics, knights, mages and warriors, who in turn can be leveled up collectively in the development phase so that players can battle and defeat more powerful monsters with fewer meeples. An interesting mechanic here is that white meeples are both the lifeblood of the game and a burden in equal measure. Whilst coloured meeples offer more combat power and unique actions, white meeples are still needed for basic actions such as development and recruitment, and a player who's too fastidious in removing them from their draw bag may be more powerful initially with the heroes they draw, but will find themselves limited in the development phase, in which they cannot build without the assistance of a white meeple, or must discard a drawn meeple from their bag permanently, which can be painful if your draw was predominantly powerful heroic characters such as knights or clerics. There are 4 areas of the board: the cathedral, the university, the villages and the castle, and these are constantly under siege from monsters, and depending on the number of monsters present in that board section, players may be forced to take in refugees, essentially extra white meeples, into their draw bag if they utilise a worker placement space in that area of the board. The more white meeples a player has in their bag, the worse it is, as it dilutes the draw potential of players getting heroes on their turn, and a draw bag must be completely empty before it is refilled with used heroes, so having a surplus of peasants, or quantity over quality, is a surefire way to lose the game. The game is a very high player turnover, so players will be constantly drawing and refilling bags, and the lucky dip aspect of the game is a lot of fun. The aesthetics of the game are quite frankly gorgeous, and there's a lovely, fun and charming feel to the game. The components, such as the board and the bags, are first rate, and the art style is very endearing and friendly. This would be a first-rate game for younger players, as the consistent bag drawing aspect and high player turnover rate will ensure that constant engagement is there for the kids. However, it is also a fun and light, complex game for adults that facilitates a nice, relaxing game with a fun, quick pace that lasts the bones of an hour at max player count. One of the Lucky Roll guys described this as the board game equivalent of Netflix and chill. Netflix and chill, of course, before the phrase took on new meaning thanks to the internet, so put that dirty thought out of your minds. It's up there with Wingspan as being one of the most relaxing games I've ever played, but is also more accessible than Wingspan due to its streamlined mechanics and simple draw and play nature. It's a very fun little game that is very, very much worth a look. As always, this is Sean. If you enjoyed these videos, please like, subscribe, all that good YouTube stuff, and until next time, good luck, God bless, and stay safe.